Good morning. Welcome to my little backyard in Lethbridge, Canada. My name is Dawn. I'm starting a new podcast called The Upside Down with Dawn, and I'm hoping to create a certain dialogue with my fellow humanity out there. Why? I have a little bit of experiencing of having to get myself up off of the floor time and time and time again, and I realize that in having conversations with other people, my story inspires other people. I get inspired by other people, and I realize that it's the connection of each other and our stories that make us better human beings, that help us learn. I'm a mom. I know what it is to do the tough stuff. I'm an educator. I have worked with a lot of different people, and of course, I am passionate about educating. I'm passionate about learning, and I am a major screw up in a lot of ways, and I don't mind sharing that because I'm about becoming a better person. I am a work in progress, and I am not afraid of saying that at all. I cannot turn this water into wine, but I can turn a down to an up. And I am making that my goal. I am choosing joy over fear, and I am living wholeheartedly. Thank you, Brene Brown. Love her. If you haven't heard of her, she's definitely going to feature in some of this conversation upcoming. I welcome you to the Upside Down of Dawn. I really want to talk about our journeys together. Give you a little bit of a lowdown on why I think I can start this conversation with some credibility. A year and a half ago, I was headed into a knee replacement surgery and very, very hopeful that I would come out of this and I would get a certain level of my life back. I was happily married. I have 4 children, 3 are adults, and they're doing great in the world. And I had a 3-year-old with my husband of a couple, only a few years. Really, we were together for 6 years before he suddenly passed away. At the same time he passed away, I also broke my knee replacement, and it just sent me on a path of disability, of which I'm not sure how much I'm going to come back from. As a result of that, I lost my career. So if you can imagine, my entire life within the span of a week was completely altered, so that the only thing that I really felt like I had left was who I am as a person, as a woman, as an artist, and as a mom. My career gone, my future gone. My husband and partner and co-parent of a 3-year-old at the age of 45, gone. I've gone through the heck of a journey in this last year and a half almost, and I'd love to share that. I'd love to hear your stories back, and I'd like to hear how it is that you come back up off that floor. All right, let's have this conversation together. Welcome to the Upside Down with Dawn. Talk to you soon. Bye. Welcome back. This is the Upside Down with Dawn. Hopefully you saw the intro there where it kind of gives you an idea of what this topic of discussion might be about. It's taking the downs of life and turning them into ups, taking plain old water and turning them into wine, metaphorically speaking. Thank you, Jesus, for that. So today, first day of kindergarten. If you watch the intro, then you know that that might be a little bit difficult in my world. I'm a teacher, educator, have been for over a dozen years. A mom to 4 kids, been through this many times. The first 3 children are adults, so I've been from the whole preschool all the way through to high school and now beyond into paying for their university. Thank you very much. Very happy to pay off my student loans just in time. Again, that was looking at the upside from the down. So, why was the first day of kindergarten for my 4th child, my almost 5-year-old, so difficult? Well, his dad was not there. Why? Because his dad died. Daddy is dead, as he likes to say. I don't really mince any bones about that. Grief is grief, and I don't really find that if we walk around and tiptoe around grief, we are not better people for this. In fact, we are actually a terrible society for doing so, believe me. I think we could do a lot better in terms of understanding grief and supporting one another through that. And it always helps to talk about your loved ones. So with that in mind, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my down, how I'm going to try to turn it up, and then maybe look at what it is really to be in school and send your children off, because I know that on the first day of school, there's lots and lots going on. For me in particular, it's a little tough, obviously. My 4th child was the only child with my 2nd husband, and he loved and adored this child. And this was supposed to be his big thing. He wanted to be the primary parent. And believe me, having had 3 already under my belt, I was more than happy to say, you know what, Dad, you want to go out and get that bicycle with Lucas? You go right ahead. That is no problem. I'll let you do that. I'm just going to sit at home and read a book myself and clap my hands when I see the 2 of you riding by. I was really okay with that. At 45, though, my husband dies of a sudden undiagnosed heart condition and leaves me with our 3-year-old as the only parent now in a city where the only family I have are my 3 adult children, who are fabulous. At the same time, I become disabled. I can't use my right leg. I've had multiple surgeries this last year, and our whole family paradigm has completely shifted and changed from being one of parent taking care of children to children having to do lots of parenting chores in a sense. So very, very early on, I had to change our parenting paradigm from that top sort of down pyramid model to team model, where this coach was now calling plays from the sidelines, and it was my 3 older children that had to be in the game, getting the groceries, picking up their little brother from the day home, dropping him off, and doing a lot of the things that you would think I'd be able to do. Haven't been able to take my boy to the park, haven't been able to take him swimming, haven't been able to do a lot of things that I was really hoping my knee replacement surgery would enable me to actually do and be a parent with my co-parent, my husband, Thomas. Been managing pretty well this past year, but it's also given me a certain perspective on how low can be and how high then you can turn life and things around. Given that this was the first day of school for Lucas, and the second year in a row where I was hoping to have my very first day of school for the school year as a teacher, it's been a very odd day. Mixed emotions. Approaching this day, Lucas has been so excited. You know, as kids are, they are so excited to be in kindergarten. And we love that. That's the upside. They want to be in school, because the downside is after a while, there are times when they're not going to want to go and you're going to have to drag them. Upside is they want to go, Mom and Dad. They're loving it, usually. There are exceptions. Downside, you're going to miss them. If you've been at home and a stay-at-home parent and you've been cherishing all that youngness and that babiness and that toddler through preschool, all that stuff, yeah, your preschooler is leaving and you're getting a little boy or a little girl and they're taking off into those school years. It's a transition. It's a big deal, and I get that. If you're a teacher, you love the first day of school. It's energy. You feel focused. You feel the room is clean. Everything is in its own spot, and all the name tags are fresh and new, and you're just excited to see and meet those other kids. And here I am in my lovely backyard where it's really, really quiet, and I'm missing Kim. That's a downside. On the upside is it's really, really quiet. There's a pond in the background, and I'm kind of relaxed and I'm taking care of myself, which is what I need to do right now. That's the upside. Not having my husband Tom do this was a big deal today. And I got down. And I did the typical parent thing where you drop the child off after taking all of the pictures, as I felt like I had to take, getting them all sparkly clean as it felt like I had to take. And I know one of the downsides of getting kids ready for school at this time of the year is the expense, right? The effort, the time, the change. You're begging for the routine. That's the upside. And then it's a lot of work getting it all started. It's just a busy time of the year. It's a really busy month, actually, as everybody gets back into that routine. So it's really great. It's also really, really stressful. So we just have to kind of cut each other some slack, take some break. But have you ever questioned yourself, why do we do some of the stuff that we're doing? Why are we freaking out about a brand new haircut and it has to be that time? I went to schedule a haircut, not really thinking about the time of year it was. There was no way I could get in the next 2 weeks because people are getting their fresh new haircuts. People are having to get the new school clothes, etc., shopping. And I wonder to myself, can kids, don't they kind of grow all year round? Like, why are we stressing about getting the clothes now? Wondered if that was a pressure we could take off ourselves. Why are we stressing about getting all these new school supplies when I know I sent home a bunch of school supplies from last year that are perfectly good, but just because they're not brand new and shiny, I think there's a lot we could probably take off our right if we really, really gave each other permission to not have everything bright and shiny and new. Cut some slack. It's already a hard time. If you're like me and you're a single mom of choice or otherwise, a single dad, choice or otherwise, um, it can be a lot of pressure to have it all on you. If you're a widow or a widower, you're missing your spouse. You're missing, this be the vulnerable part, you're missing somebody else to look at you and go, oh, that was like cute, or to send the photo of the first day picture. You're missing that person to send it to. In my case, I was really hoping, because I'd already done this 3 times before, and kindergarten bores the absolute crap out of me. Yeah, I'm so not going to feel guilty about that, okay? I have taught grade 2. I was going to teach grade 1. I just find kindergarten a little too boring for myself. And I did that whole kindergarten mom with, I showed up at the snack day and then you stay all day and you're smiling and you're waiting, and it's just not very engaging for me. I'm sorry. I think I would just rather play Settlers of Catan, honestly, when they get a little bit older. This was supposed to be my husband's domain, and I miss that he's not here to do the things that I don't want to do. Human part 1. I miss not being able to send that text or that photograph. Part 2. I miss not being able to hold his hand and go, wow, this is an amazing journey. Thank you for doing this with me. So how do you take that down? And like all the other things, you turn it into an up. Well, I think about who my husband was. He was Mr. Safety Conscious, and he drove my day home mama, co-parent, as I call her now, Suzanne, sometimes crazy. And we would often have to team up with Thomas and say, reasonable expectations. He's going to get a bump. He's going to get a bruise. He's going to get a scratch. You know, life happens to little people. And I can imagine on this day, he might be driving that teacher a little bit crazy with 1,000 questions or 1,000 pieces of information. He would have been fussing. He'd have been really joyful. And I know wherever he is, he still is joyful. The spirit of him and the understanding of that and the smile I can see in the sense in my mind's eye is the same one that he would have feeling. I know he's with Lucas today, and I know and I believe he's watching down. And believe me, if you want to get through grief, if you want to get through loss, you have to choose a perspective. You have to choose joy instead of fear and sadness. So I feel it. I feel the sadness. I feel the loss. But I'm also making a choice to think that my husband still exists in spirit and is watching over us. And I look for those moments of proof and synchronicity. And I don't care if somebody thinks, oh, that's so cute. She misses her husband, so she's imagined that he's accidentally fooling around with the television or the windows on the car, or that, you know, when her son says, hey, Mom, Dad taught me how to play Super Mario. Oh, that's so sweet. I actually choose to believe that he is with us. It's one way I get up off the floor. One way to turn the down into the up is the way that you perceive their presence. The other part is to think, yeah, about that part where he might be a pain in the butt with all of these firsts and all these must-haves and all these do's. I don't have to argue with anybody about how I want to approach the first day of school with anybody. There's a lot of independence that comes when you're parenting on your own, right? I don't have to confer. I can do what I think is in the best interest of Lucas without having to negotiate. That is kind of enough, truth be told. So I'm sure there will be more that I think of throughout the day. And if you can think about the ups that you can turn from the moment you had in the car after dropping your little person off, where you wanted to bawl alone or be sad and kind of down about this wonderful new transition and start to the to your person's year, please feel free to share. We'd love to hear it. This has been the Upside Down with Dawn. Thanks so much for tuning in.